Alrighty folks, want to welcome you back to the next video of Yates Computers Tips and Reviews. This one is going to be on the Windows 10. I'm sure everybody's heard by now Windows 11 is coming out. They've already announced an end of life date for Windows 10. It's a shame, I like it, but 2025 is the end of life, end of support. So we have to consider what is the next step. You have Windows 11. Well, like I mentioned on all the other videos, usually they have a good version, a bad version, a good version, a bad version. Windows 7 was a good version, Windows 8, 8.1 was a bad version. You have Windows 10, well now you got a Windows 11. And of course, from already what I've seen, it looks like it's a bad version. They've gone in there and they've changed everything around, changed your startup screen, changed where start is, and changed all this stuff already. Oh, but it can be all used the same. You just have to go in here and change this and change that and do this and do that. Why? I mentioned it in these other videos. Why do these developers force these changes on us? Give us the option to enable it. Don't jam it down our throat and go, oh, if you don't like it, go change it back. That is wrong. Because now you have someone that bought products, bought a laptop, bought whatever, and is on the phone with tech support for 5 hours to try to enable this thing back to so they can use it. Most business users and most people like the computer the way they have it set up. They're used to it. And then they go along and change things. Software developers, I've run across them before. Oh, we have this new look, we have this new platform, and this will work so much better, and this and that. Well, if you don't like it, you could change it back to classic mode or legacy mode. Wait. If I don't like it, I can change it? Why don't I have the choice to pick what I want? That's what gets me mad as being someone who buys the product. I buy a product to do what I want it to do, not to do what you decided you want it to look like. And if I don't like it, I can go in there and find the settings and change it back. Why don't you give me the choice to go into those settings and change it to see if I like it? Because if I bought new software and I'm trying to set it up, trying to get it configured, and I know how to do it in the old look or the old layout, it's much easier to go in there and configure it and set it up in the old layout and then go in and see if I like the new layout. Because I'm going to tell you right now, 99% of the time, I'm going to hate your new layout because I have to go in there and figure out how to set that up in settings that I need to do in your twisted, tweaked out layout. It might be nice if I can do the setup and then go into the settings and say, okay, let me see this new platform and let me see how it runs and let me see how it works. Instead of getting stuck with it when you start your computer, trying to do all the setups, trying to do all the configurations in this new thing, and then getting fed up and sick of it, and then going into the computer settings and changing all the settings so that I can go in there and do what I need to do. So, how many people out there are going to be happy with this new layout? Yeah, the engineers and designers are happy with it because they designed it and they know where all this stuff is at. But you move everything around and people can't find what they want. Welcome to Windows 8 and 8.1 again. This is my feelings. This is what I want to voice out. And it's not only the OS. There's software developers that are doing the same thing. And it drives me crazy. So, I wanted to touch base on that. Because everybody will be watching this hopefully for another 2 or 3 years till the support ends. And this is important because Windows 10 was a good operating system. It runs well. It runs everything. Haven't had any problems with running across any software that it says is unsupported that don't work. So it's a nice piece of software. I just want to touch base to make sure everybody's aware of that. To know. Make sure you have all your updates. Make sure you have your admin account. Make sure you have your login name and all of that stuff in case you need to upgrade, in case you need to apply patches, updates. Now, want to make sure that everybody's aware with Windows 10 too. Make sure you're on the latest versions for all your security. All your updates are done. Now, the other thing is you have all this new stuff on Windows 11 coming out. Supposedly it'll be a free upgrade for Windows 10 users. None of this is official because the product is not out on the market at the time of this video. It's not it's not even an official software distribute. It's a leaked copy. It's for people to do demos and other things with to tell you about. It's not in an official version yet. Sometime, supposedly in 2022, it'll be out. Haven't got an official release date yet at the time of videoing this. But I don't recommend the upgrade because you have till 2025 on Windows 10. That's when the support stops. So, if that version is no good, hopefully they have another version out by then, or they're working on something that you can hang on till you get to that. So, that's an important factor with the Windows 10. Windows 10, hopefully there's nobody on anything older than that. Windows 7, Windows 8, 8.1. Hopefully you've all upgraded to Windows 10. Use the free upgrade by now. Go on the Microsoft site, get the Media Creator tool, download it to the computer, run it, it'll upgrade, or you can do a clean install, or you can create a USB drive. I've touched on this on some of the other videos, but I want to go over it again because someone might not watch those other videos because people aren't watching all the videos about all the other stuff that all relates to this. Go back and watch all my other videos because they're all interconnected to all of this. That when you do the upgrade, you have the choice to make a USB stick. I would recommend it because that is your tool in case your computer don't boot. You can boot to the USB stick to boot in to do your troubleshooting. Not to mention if your computer ever crashes or you ever need to reload or you ever need to do anything, you have it to reload to get you back up on your feet. If you're following best standard practices, you have your CDs and you have your backups and you have everything. Once you load in, you're good to go. Maybe your drive goes bad. Maybe you're upgrading drives. You never know. You might try to be upgrading drives and something gets corrupted and everything goes down and you're going to need to do something about it. Have the USB there. It's just the same as having the OS on a CD. You always want your backups. Part of best practices. Go watch those videos. So, these are important. But the other factor is only other problem you have with doing that is there's other versions that come out that you do upgrades to. So if you have the latest greatest update, I believe it is 21H1 is 1403 is the latest version of Windows 10. So you would want to create the Media Creator with that latest version. Because if you have an older version, like a 19.8, you install that, then you got to apply all those updates to get you back up to where you were. Not to mention, some of those might be unsupported at some time. And then you have to go to another computer, download that media creator, then install it. But one of the nice things that that thing does is when it installs, it goes out to the internet and pulls updates and pulls latest versions and pulls stuff. Well, that's great and it's bad, because if you're on a wireless internet or you're on other things that you have a lot of data being transferred and you get charged per data, well, you're transferring a lot of data. So it might be best to have that stick handy. Have it available. These are some of the factors that are out there. If you're in a big city or in a business environments, I recommend the USB stick. Why? Because then you don't have to download it on every computer. Have it on the USB stick. You boot into Windows. Go in there, run the upgrade software. It'll upgrade, it'll search the internet, pull whatever updates, do whatever it needs to do, and install. Saves you a lot of time that you're not downloading that media creator and running it from that. Not to mention, if you have an older mechanical hard drive in there that runs really slow, it could take you a long time to download that. It can take you a long time to upgrade, because now it's pulling the data from the drive to write to the drive. If you watch some of the other videos that I've done, mechanical drives can only do one function at a time. So it goes, finds that data, pulls that data, puts it to memory, processes it, then it wants to write. So then it has to come back. So whatever data it needs to pull, hopefully it's pulled that and sent before that data gets there so it can write. So you're slowing things down. The new drives can do so many things at one time. They can be throwing so many files, bringing so many files up, and then it restarts and it updates everything and you're good to go. So these are some of the factors that you got to think about. And if you're doing 100 computers in a business environment, well, if it takes you an extra 30 minutes to 45 minutes a computer to download those files, times 100 adds up to a bunch of time. If you're in a place where time doesn't matter, well, you can do that. But just a factor. But back to the Windows 10 itself, there's a nice OS. Except for they did the typical thing that they like to do. Hide stuff on you and run stuff on you and invade your privacy. Yes, I will say invade your privacy. I actually agree with that, because if you go into Microsoft settings and you go into settings, go start settings, privacies, and you go down, it's like the fourth or fifth one, it talks about how it wants to save everything you're doing and save it to a log and send it to Microsoft. Now turn all that stuff off. All that privacy, all the stuff running in the background, turn all that stuff off. I know when Windows 10 first came out, there was a few videos on that, but that's really one of the key factors. Turning all that stuff off that's running in the background that Microsoft wants, or Windows wants access to. There's some things I laugh at. Why would they want access to that? Why would you allow that to even run? Computer I got in here doesn't even have a camera, doesn't have a microphone, but you load Windows 10 into this thing and it wants to control your microphone, your camera, your contacts, your web documents, all this stuff. I don't understand why they want to access my privacy on my computer into my files. It wants to run things in the background. Pretty much every program you got in your computer, it wants to run. It wants to run the Xbox, it wants to run this, it wants to run that, it wants to run its cloud store, it wants to run its backup feature, it wants to run its clouds, all that stuff. You have to go turn all this stuff off. It's amazing. Once you turn all that stuff off, your computer runs so much quicker. So much quicker. It's eating up all my resources. It's eating up my CPU cycles, my memory, everything. Because, why? I did not say, okay, let me choose to let you do this. This was the developers that decided, we want this and we're going to take it. And we're going to put it in this back end here and nobody's going to know about it. That ain't true. That ain't true. Once you send it out to people who actually review these products and dig through these products and find out what's actually going on, there's certain people that just dig through every piece of that software, coding, everything, to figure out what's going on. And you'll find a lot of this stuff documented some places, but you got to look for it. You really have to look for it. There was one person that was working on a site. They were putting in and upgrading all their computers to Windows 10. And they knew I was an IT person. They asked me, so, what do you recommend with Windows 10? And what should we watch out for? I pulled up Windows 10, started showing them those privacy settings, and they went, what? They were totally blown away. They did not know about those settings. Went in and said, hey, be aware, this is what goes on in this operating system, this is what's going on, blah, 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 blah. That person was informed, passed it on to their people took care of that problem. So, now, if this was someone that was basically doing installs and doing stuff that was new to Windows 10, how about all the home users? How about all these businesses when Windows 7 got unsupported and then they found out, oh, wait, just upgrade to Windows 10. Hopefully a lot of these businesses didn't go out and buy Windows 10 product keys and buy Windows 10 itself and knew about this free upgrade, because that was kind of hidden too. It was, you had 1 year to upgrade. Well, the factor is once you upgraded and that 1 year ran out, what they tried to tell you was, no, you can't upgrade anymore. But here's the factor that they forgot about. You sold someone a computer saying, hey, you buy this computer, it's got Windows 8 or Windows 7 on it, we'll allow you to upgrade for free. Okay, great. That computer crashed. You did your recovery software, it came up to Windows 8. You go to Windows 10, and you can't upgrade it because you're after the year. Is that false advertisement? What is that? Because when I bought that computer, you told me I can upgrade to Windows 10, but now it crashed, and the recovery software is not Windows 10, it's Windows 8, and I need to get back to Windows 10. What happens? So they kind of left a back door open for those people that they can refer them to, download this and put it in, and you can upgrade back to what we promised you. Because all the manufacturers were stuck with this hardware that had Windows 8 on it that no one would buy because Windows 8 was no good. They all stuck with Windows 7. So this is out there that probably a lot of home users don't know. You might be still running Windows 8 because end of life is coming up pretty soon, or has come up. Windows 7 end of life has already passed. Hopefully you're off of Windows 7. If not, upgrade. I just explained why, where it's available, and how in this video. Get yourself to Windows 10. I haven't really had any problems with the upgrade. There's been one or two where files have been corrupted so bad that I had to do a clean install and reinstall. But those are computers that we were having some little issues with beforehand. So it was a bad problem beforehand. So as long as you're following best standard practices, you got your software, you got all that type of stuff, and one of the factors is I brought up in the other video, you might think you're fully upgraded. You might be running a piece of software out there that you think is fully upgradable. You're on like version 14.3 and they come out with version 15. Well, sometimes they have software that is not upgradable to. I've run into that on all kinds of virus scans, firewalls, all kinds of things. All kinds of different software. Software to rip CDs and DVDs and all of this stuff. You run into those little platform changes somehow where it won't upgrade. But when you check, do I have the latest version? It says yes, you got the latest version. But sometimes you actually have to go on the manufacturer's site and look, what is the current version? So you might have a 14.3 and there's a 15.3 and it's telling you you're upgraded. You can't go any further. But your product key, if you find out your product key will work on that version, a lot of times you have to download that installer, and either that installer will remove or you will have to remove the old one and then install the new one. And then you can upgrade and patch from there. A lot of times I can't ever get straight answers on why certain software does that. It's obviously there's a total developmental change in the software where it can't be changed. Same like anything before, Windows 7 down, Vista, 2000, any of those other of MEs, any of those other operating systems are not upgradable to Windows 7, Windows 8, Windows 8 to Windows 10 because their file structures are different. How the things were set up inside are so much different that you can't upgrade. That you need to do a clean install. So you back up your data, you do the clean install, log in to all your users, and then you could transfer over those user files to that computer. So sometimes there's those platforms, and the other video I mentioned it is like a stairs. You have the one level of stairs and you have the platform and you have another level of stairs. Sometimes there's that platform you got to go across before you can continue. So also in that video I mentioned computer stuff usually is pretty easy, but somehow it's pretty hard because here you have simple things like upgrades that you think you're doing are okay, but then you run into some weird thing like that where you look and you go, wait, why is there another upgrade or another patch out, but this isn't finding it? So you have to dig a little bit and find out why. I've run across that in a lot of different things, so I wanted to touch on that. So as for Windows 10, there are those security features that I mentioned before that I disagree with that they put in there. So again, I haven't done a video on upgrading to Windows 10, but I've touched on it. If you go and you do your homework, do your research, you'll see a lot of other people have it. You'll find websites now with simple instructions, 10 or 15 steps, not that complicated of instructions. Because everybody's done it so much now that they know you're not going to run into too many issues, too many problems, that you don't have to watch a 5-hour video on how to do this. You can print it out on a 1 or 2 page sheet and understand what's going on. It's not like it was in the old days. It's not about boot sectors. It's not about your partitions. It's not about any of that other type of stuff, because with the Windows 7 and 8 transitions, a lot of those things transitioned, and that's why you can't upgrade from the older versions on. So that's what made these things easier. So I hope that explains a lot about the Windows 10. I wanted to go through a little bit of it because you're going to hear a lot about Windows 11 coming out. My Windows 11 first look video, hopefully you've watched that or will watch that, because there's a buyer beware in there too with the Windows 10. With the new hardware support, depending on how it actually officially comes out, there's a buyer beware there. So make sure you watch that video. It'll be the first look of Windows 11, because it won't be the official Windows 11 video, because Windows 11 is not, I would call, a product yet. It's not out. I can't go to the big box store, open up a laptop and see what it does. See if it works. Oh man. So that's going to be a first look. It's not going to be an official video like this. I think I'll wrap it up. I think I went on too long for this. So let me close this out by saying thanks for watching my video at Yates Computers Tips and Reviews. And there's more to come.